Hi, I'm Paul Roberts and this is Conscious Counseling 101. This is the second video created for the same person that wants to improve themselves. They want to be more consciously aware. They want to be more consciously in control and aware of all the differences in how they relate to their environment that they have control over. Now, the ultimate goal, I think, now that we're talking more, is to become better so that you can work with the person that you want, so that you can become admirable to them, so that you gain the relationship with them that you want and have it be a quality one. But we talked about how we need to gain the insights necessary to work on ourselves first so that we can be something that other person would want to have. So, I can see that you see these things and that you're thinking about them and that you've worked on them for a while now and you want to continue. That's great. But now you're saying you have made the decision that this person is worthy of your time and your relationship. And the thing that's caused problems in the past has been the fact that you haven't been in control of yourself and have been conveying a picture of yourself to them that isn't accurate and is being missed. The true you is being missed by this person. And it's really kind of your fault. You're taking it on your shoulders. That's really kind of your fault. And you want to become more heightened consciously aware of all things so that you can naturally project a more positive image that you're actually becoming, that's real, to this person. And once you can do that, you believe this person will receive. That's great. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that at all if that's the case, if you're not deluding yourself. But I'm going to make this video about codependence because what we want to talk about first is the jump off point we're at here. If we are willing to change ourselves and become more, that's wonderful all by itself. But if we're doing it so that we can, that could be a little bit of a problem. It doesn't have to be a problem, but it could be. Because what we talked about before was we want to be all we can be and see all things as we see them the best we can so that we can, for ourselves, be more. And I said to you, all worthy people would then be attracted to you, including this one that you currently are with. So that so that you can is okay. But if you're doing these things only so that you can attract the other person, I think you're already missing the mark. And I think in the end, you won't do as well as you'd like to do. We shouldn't be doing things so that we can gain from outside of ourselves. That's a limited way to think. And because if we put that as our foundation of our conscious counseling, perspective shift counseling, if we put that as our foundation, we're going to come up a little bit shorter, maybe a lot shorter than we would have come up if we had put ourselves first. And then everything else could be added onto us. So I want to take you back there to where you need to be for yourself. I want you to think about that and the difference between what I'm going to talk about now, which is a codependency. Okay. Codependency is basically we can't be full. We can't be all we can be. We can't focus on what we need to be the total creation that we were meant to be, whatever that is, and that's going to be different for everybody's point of view, unless we gain from outside sources. Well, we already talked about before how in this world that we're bombarded by everybody's opinions and everybody's life is coming into our world with Facebook and just different things now because of the information highway. We're bombarded and it's so difficult not to compare and try to reflect back what we're seeing so that we can modulate who we are based on what we think they are going to receive better or what we should be better. We're even taking the image, even if it's not for the other people, we're taking the image of what we think we should be based on what others are. That in itself is bad, but I think you're already on a good positive path to realizing that's not the way to go. That we have to be more one with ourselves and understand why we are what we are and what caused us to get into the slings and arrows and traps that we found ourselves bound by. So freeing ourselves from that is just a perspective counseling that we already talked about, very detailed in the first video, and it's everything you need to know about that. So now we're talking about what might we do once we're wholesome and pure and living well and balanced and understanding that heightened conscious perspective of how we give to ourselves. The question now is, do other things still leak in to our special thing that we're working on? Like our desires, our loves, people that we want to influence or want to like us. If we evaluate ourselves not fully, but because of what these people, what we want from them, what ends we want to achieve with them, we risk becoming codependent. We risk doing things only because of our outside circumstances. And what we do when we do that is we surrender a portion of our control that we would have had to those outside circumstances. We become weaker when we do this because, be truthful with yourself, if we relinquish some control to other factors outside of ourselves, whether it be people, ways of life, things we want to become, what are we ultimately doing? We're taking the control and the balance that we had control over, and we're doling it out to other sources. We've now weakened ourselves ultimately, unless those other sources reciprocate and give back. But even if they do reciprocate and give back to us, and we become more because we are willing to have faith and trust and love and do this, even if we do receive back, we're just fortunate that we have. We were willing to relinquish this control in order for the chance that we might receive back. The fact that we were willing to do that, I believe, comes out of foolishness or supreme love and a desire for a larger thing. And I would say to you that if you're going to relinquish your control to other forces, be aware you're doing it, but also only do it for the supreme, most wonderful reasons. And that is that the other thing is an entity worthy of you doing that for in the first place. A known entity worthy and that will reciprocate, that you want to become a part of and bond with. And that you're willing to take that chance and give your all to them, not so that they will come and give back to you. We hope that that's the case. But because you know you've reached the capabilities of the highest thing you can be consciously. And so therefore, your next logical step is to gravitate towards another so that you can become more. Because otherwise you would be trapped. That would be, you would reach your limits, and it's wonderful limits. The limits are great. I mean, they're unfathomable. The limits of how great you could be. I don't even want to talk about that because we'd be here all day. There's no limits. There probably isn't any limits. But you want to say, okay, but I want to have the one thing I can't have. And that is union with another. This in itself bombards you through a barrier and takes you to a new place. Make sure that when you do that, you know what you're doing. Make sure that you're willing to do it, even if you don't get what you want and you're hurt and it fails. Do the best calculation you can and analyzation first to make sure the person's worthy of it. Don't do it just because you feel like you want to, because you get something good. Because what you're doing then is you're just giving something that's really probably not something you should give, because you're getting something back. You're just trading. You're just trading is all you're doing. And when you start doing that trading again, just like when you start comparing yourself with others, like we talked about in the first video, you start to do faster trades. You start to do more trades so that you can continue to feel whole. When you do that, you've surrendered control that you had, that we talked about in the first video. And the chances are that no other entity outside you will care more about you than you. Self-love is so important. So don't get into the habit of saying, if I give this, I'll get this. If I get this, I'll get this. And do all these trades with everything. And don't even do it with the one that you're interested in, haphazardly. Do it in a very, very resigned, dedicated, well thought out fashion that's discussed with the person so that you, every step of the way, won't give any false illusions that might trip them up or you. But they'll be aware of what you're doing and why. And if they care, they'll receive and they'll reciprocate. You don't need to go into a relationship with somebody and say, I'm going to just give myself to you as a sacrifice and hope that you reciprocate. If you do that, it seems like you're bold. It seems like you're loving. But really, you're desperate. You're really codependent. You're proving something to yourself. You think you're proving something to yourself. You think you're saying, if I can show him that I'm willing to do this, then he will certainly appreciate me. And that'll well up in him, and I'll get a better chance of receiving what I want to from him. But really, you're deluding yourself. Because most people, the nature, without encouragement and growth on their part, the human nature, is to do less for others and to watch out for themselves first. And a part of that is acceptable because you have to do that to be self-loving, to be self-worthy and growing so that you have something to offer to someone else. A part of that is acceptable. But the greed and the selfishness and the broken nature that is in all of us until we overcome and heighten our conscious and grow to something larger is probably not natural with that person. Like you're trying to make it natural with you. I don't know, but most likely. So your chances are, if you just give openly and you're this great prize for them, they'll still have failures and weaknesses, and you'll still come out short. And your relationship won't develop into everything that you want it to be. So I caution you to understand what codependence is. You're going to offer yourself to someone else with no chance, only a good study of the person and a good talking through communication-wise, but no real chance of knowing for sure that it's going to work out the way you want or that they're going to reciprocate in the way that you would if you were them. So, is it worth it or not? Is it worth it or not that you do this? I can't tell you. I don't know the person. I don't know what you ultimately want, and I can't predict the future. So, should you do it? Should you do it? If you have come to the point where your heightened conscious makes you aware that you've studied and looked at what we've talked about, and you can trust yourself, and you know that your reasons aren't coming from other sources about what you should make your life up about, and you have come to a level that you can be certain and love and move forward, and your heart tells you that this person's worthy, then yeah. If there's the potential there, then yeah, cultivate it, nurture it, talk it through, work it. Make sure they're doing the same thing and aware of the struggle that you're going to become this new entity in your life, and how your hopes is first for yourself, but then to have an overwhelming blessing that overflows to the next person. I think they need to be aware of your growth, especially since this new way of looking at things is new to you. And they should be able to take and see what you're trying to do and see that as a value. That you do it for yourself first, but that you're ultimately desiring to give what is left over to them too. They should treasure the fact that you care about yourself, value yourself, and are becoming something new and special. They should want that in their life, and they should be flattered is a really weak word, but they should be thrilled. They should be jointly connected by the fact that they're seen by you as a valuable thing, and you want to cultivate this special relationship with them, even though you're having difficulties. They should see it as that. And every step of the way, they should be able to reciprocate as you become more communicative of what you're doing and why. They should value that and lovingly respond every step of the way. If they don't, as they're going along, you can keep trying. I don't want to say put the brakes on, but be wary. Because you may be trusting your feelings and what you want more than what's real and what's true and what's likely. And when you trust your feelings more, you take a risk that what you're doing is so that you can receive from another because you gave out, and you're taking away from yourself and you're becoming lesser. If you don't receive it and you become a victim of like saying, I've got to receive it or else I'm less, I've now relinquished control, you become dependent on that other entity. I would say go towards them with love, but don't ever think that you need to take your hands off the wheel, that you're driving your own life. You don't need to relinquish and give all to that person unless and until they show themselves worthy. Then you can. Is he saying, oh, you don't love me enough, you don't care enough, you're not giving up enough? If he gets to that point and he wants more from you, you can always lead out more. You can always give yourself more slack. But it doesn't sound like he's doing that right now. It sounds like what you're doing from what you said is you're being elusive, not forthcoming enough, not dealing out in small enough pieces that can be about what you talk about each day with each other, that can become symbolic of how you're trying to reach out to his particular needs and the way he wants to relate to you, so that he can receive it with love and see what you're doing as you're doing it. Nothing's hidden. Instead of keeping it all hidden, and then all of a sudden in an emotional tirade lashing into him, he won't receive that because he doesn't understand it, and he won't see the little things you're doing that are trying to come out of love and nurturing for this relationship. He'll see it just as bombardment. So, again, I said, you must have patience. You must know yourself. You must be not codependent, but completely 100% strong on your own. You must then reveal to him who you are and what you're trying to do, that you deem him worthy, and have him participate in this process with you and be aware of every little thing. No more holding back, but no more bombarding. Piece it out as fast as he can take it in and reciprocate and comprehend and work with you. If you can do that, you'll be aware of where you are at all times, and you will not be risking giving him too much and becoming codependent. You'll be firmly in charge of your mind and your heart. You'll be showing you want to give it, but you won't be giving it foolhardily, like some people do to friends and different things. You know, they give themselves out foolhardily, and then they become lost, like we talked about before, and you realize this, and they wonder how they got that way because they weren't aware of heightened conscious, aware of all things, and they did so many things that they weren't aware of, and they got themselves dug in deep, and then they just accept that. A lot of people don't ask for help. A lot of people don't want to grow. I think it's admirable that you've asked for help and you want to do something. what you're going to do is you've already taken these things that you were throwing your good parts to and getting trapped and lost and blinded. You've got it down to a narrow beam now. You've taken control of yourself. So now I'm going to focus the beam on this one great thing that I want to be with. That's great, because now you can really eliminate all this other stuff, throw it out the window, and be much more focused. But again, the codependence, the whole idea I'm talking to you about, this particular way of talking to you right now, is that if you thrust too much from yourself and lose control to a non-worthy entity, or an unknown entity, or an entity that isn't playing with you as you go along and understanding how this is all you have, and you're giving it to them willingly in small chunks they can understand, you have to present it in a way they can value it every single day while you're doing it. If you present it in any way that they can't value and they can't see your inner workings and they don't want to embrace what you're going through and they don't want to be a part of that, you have to then ask yourself, are they worthy? If you could be truthful with yourself while you're doing this, and you can understand what I'm talking to you about doing, then you don't have to worry about codependence. Because at any time, you can say, this person is not responding as a person that would be worthy would respond. If that's the case, you can continue to try a little while longer. And you can see if there's any growth potential in them, any desire for growth potential in them. And if there isn't, at that point, you can start to withdraw and be more patient and wait. But then never come back in and bombard them again. Stay withdrawn. Have them see if they'll come more to you. But don't continue to dole out if it shows that it's not worthy of being doled out. Or you'll work yourself down to where you're not in control anymore. You become more desperate. And then what value are you to yourself or to that person? You become less. Then when the person looks at you and sees what do they have in you, they'll see less. If they become unaware of what it is you gave, and it's not part of you now you're desperate, now you're latched on, they'll only see what you still have, which is diminished. If they don't see the part you gave away and value that, then they'll see you going down rather than rising up. They'll see you as devalued, something that wouldn't be as prized by them. So it's very important that as you piece yourself off and you give, they're aware of what you're doing and why, and they're seeing it. So that as your struggle is going on, you are making sure they know about it. And if they don't love you for trying to do that for them and to be all that you can be for them, something's wrong with them. So be aware of these things. And be truthful. And don't be desperate. Because let me tell you something. If you become everything we've talked about, I don't even know who this person is, but there should be many worthy people for you in your future. If this person isn't one. Many. Now, there's billions of people in the world, right? Probably not very many worthy ones. But the good news is, the values that you're going to project towards anyone else, only the ones that are worthy and that see what you are will be attracted to you. And that's good news for you, because you'll never take someone where you found them and they found you when you were less ever again. The ones that come in will be much more of the caliber that you're looking for, that you're becoming, and you won't have to transform them because you're going to project things to them that they're looking for, and they'll realize the value of them. And so the next person down the line won't be as much of a struggle. Of course, you don't love them or care for them yet, so it's hard to imagine that that's there. But think about the logic of it. If you're more, everyone else that is capable of seeing what more is will desire that moreness. And because they desire that, they're going to be more. And because they're already more, you won't have to prop it up as much. They'll already be there. That's big. But because you already have feelings for this person, And you'd like to have this person be that person first. Just like you're building yourself, you've got to help them to build. And that's a job. Unless it comes like a ray of light for them, like I think it has for you. You can't be sure that it will. Because why? You reached out and you wanted. You were ready for somebody to say, this is what's happening, and you were ready to receive. You were ready to work. You were ready to respond. You were ready to do. That other person might not be ready. Might not want to receive. Might be happy with just the way things are, even if they're miserable or less than they should be. So it's going to be an uphill battle if you make this the person you go for. But if you have feelings, all I caution you in this video about codependence, which I'll try to wrap up now, is to be aware of what you're doing and why, make them aware of what you're doing and why, deal it out in a way that they can understand and take it and value it as they're doing it, and value you for it, because their vision is as clear as yours, and you make it as clear as theirs by letting them know what you're doing and why every second. Don't hold back and stay back, and then all of a sudden, in a moment of passion or anger, lash it back out at them. That cycle's got to be ended by you being aware, stronger, fuller, heightened conscious, knowing what your views and points of view are and why they're valuable, and then having your behavior change because your mind makes it change. Your perspective makes it change. So, in the end, do not give more than this person can receive, or you devalue yourself. But do choose to do the work. That's what the heart's telling you. This is the person. So the heart's telling you it's worth doing the work. As long as the heart tells you, and you develop a more clear picture of this person like you have with yourself, and the heart keeps telling you to give some of your dependence to this person, then the codependence is acceptable. You're creating a bond that has a place to take both of you a higher realm than where you are currently. And that's acceptable. So my cautioning to you to understand codependence is to be aware of it every step you take, so that you don't bombard yourself with blindness and bondage. If you can do that, you can follow the heart. You can have love. You can have joy with another and go to a new place that you couldn't have gone on your own, and that person couldn't have gone on your own. And that unique thing that you have will make you so much more to each other. And that's worth it. But instead of surrendering yourself blindly, you understand that you're willing to do the work, and that the other person needs to understand what you're doing and why, and do the work as well. Then every step you go together can be a valued step, an enjoyed step, a loving step. I don't want you to give this a week or a month and say, things aren't working. Unless you have done the smallest little steps possible with the patience, and even those are flung away. And unless you're 100% open, and you are not being elusive or hiding and then coming back and saying, okay, now I'm back in your face. Don't do that. Small bits. Awareness of what the bits are, where they're coming from you, and also to him, so he knows where they're coming from and why. Then, if you've done that for a couple of weeks or a month or I don't know how long, and you're consistent and you've really done it, then you'll start to see if any bites are coming. Are they getting nibbles? Is there any reciprocation? This is better than it was before. I like the idea that you're trying a different thing and that you're involving me. If you're starting to get vibes like that, even the smallest ones, you're on the right path. If you're true to yourself and you're true to him, and you're always true to yourself, you're always heightened conscious, and you're always letting him see who you are truly, and helping him with heightened conscious as you're doing with yourself in bite-sized pieces, and he wants it, you'll find he's worthy, and you'll have a lot to look forward to. If not, Don't become a slave to anybody outside the controls that you have. Don't become codependent and keep hoping that something else is going to happen if you keep doing things the same. Doing things the same forever and ever and expecting different results, some people say, is the clinical definition of being insane. If you keep doing the same things, you'll most likely get the same results. So why is Conscious Counseling 101 all about perspective counseling? So that you'll see clearly what it is that you're doing. You'll see clearly what all things are. And in so doing, you'll clearly know what you need to do differently to produce a different outcome, a worthy outcome, instead of the same old junk that those that are on the dark path keep falling to. You're already past that. Now you're to the point where you can start making things happen. Work on this for a while and do it with fervor and consistency. Don't let any remnants of the way it was from that old perspective still exist. Make that paradigm shift forever. And none of the old factors that detracted would ever be allowed to live. They could live in the memory, but each day it'll become more and more noticed. Hey, that was just a memory. That's the way things used to be. How come it's not like that anymore? How come we're having this new relationship now? How come things are changing and you're not exhibiting what you used to? How come you're relating in these new ways? More and more, it'll be shown to yourself and to whoever you set your sights on. Well, not to whoever, because the next person would be new, but to this person that you have your sights on, it'll become known to them that the old starts to become more and more distant. They're not going to expect anymore the way it used to be. And more, they'll have delightful surprises every day that it's a different way now. Eventually, what's the status quo and the norm that that person will come to expect and the way you'll relate will become the new norm. If you're 100% heightened conscious and aware and truthful to yourself and them while you're doing it, everyone will know why it's happening too. And they'll reestablish the help that it needs to continue that establishment. And that's what'll take it where it needs to go. So I wish you well. Talk to me every day if you'd like to. But keep this consistency going for a period of time until you start to see a trend on the graph. Somehow document what it was, and in your mind say, what does it need to do in order to show that it's different? And look at that sensitively every day and needle it. Noodle it. Work it. Make the other person aware you're trying to do these things. And every day is a new chance. But remember, it's not a new chance to constantly mess up the day before and then go fix it. Try to make it so that you don't mess up in the first place by always being aware of what it is and why, so that you don't go down the same roads. And so it becomes much easier to curb the future if you're aware of the past and the present. And you make everybody around you aware of the past and the present. And you show them the projection of where you're going. Make them value that. And I believe it's human nature for others to encourage it in you and others when they see positive. I like to believe that positive is what people want for themselves and others around them. I like to believe that. Of course, we can't know, and we can't speak for all people. But evaluate this person as you go. And evaluate yourself as you go. And that's a good start on what to work on until we talk again, I think. And if you have more questions about exactly what anything I said meant or anything like that, we can talk about it more. But I think I try to make it to where everything you need to know is in every video. Yes, we could do more videos that are more specialized, but I try to make it where everything you would need to know for your purpose is there in every video. I hope that you have more tools now that we've spoken again here to work with at your disposal, and I wish you well.